Hi guys, welcome back to our webinar. Right now, let's move on to the next agenda today, which is our motivational talk by our esteemed alumni, Miss Dania Ganesh, who managed to achieve band 6 in Muet during the 2020-2021 session. And she will be sharing her experience as a student taking the Muet exam and how does she manage to achieve such outstanding result on Muet. So, as the previous session, if you guys have any question, you can actually comment below. And if we got time at the end of the session, we're gonna answer some of the question that you guys sent to us. So, without further ado, let's be warmly welcome Miss Dania.
Hi. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. Thank you for inviting me today. As Hanani has mentioned, I'm here to share some tips on Muet and how to excel, hopefully, give you guys a bit of motivation. So, yeah.
Okay. So let's begin with the first question. So, can we know how you prepare your examination during in matriculation?
Okay. Our Muet exam has four components, right? Which is your
Yeah.
listening, writing, speaking, and then what is one more? Reading, yeah, okay. So I prepared differently for each of the components. For listening, actually, there's not much you can do. Maybe you can listen to the CDs, like that might help you to catch up. If you know how the format is, it's definitely easier for you to, expect the sections, know when to listen more, when there'll be like a longer paragraph being said or whatnot, lah. So yeah, you can practice that in that way for listening. And then for speaking, I actually practiced with my friends in a group. So I think there were four of us in a group. That time was during COVID lockdown. So we'll just practice with Google Meet. We would like pick a topic and then just spontaneously start discussing it. It just kind of helps us to train thinking on the spot and also make it easier for us to be in the practice of expanding what we want to say uh, in a good way, lah. Not to say in a good way, but expand what we want to say in an elaborate way and talk at a good speed. Because sometimes when you're talking during the exams, right, you'll be under a lot of stress, under a lot of pressure. You suddenly start talking fast, or you will lose your train of thought, and then you just don't know what to say. So you just like pause and buffer, or people tend to say a lot of you know what I mean. So if you
Yeah.
practice more, then yeah, if you practice more, then you would be more comfortable with speaking about a topic spontaneously, and you would have a better idea on how to develop your topic. All right, so that's for speaking. And then for reading, okay, reading was one of the hardest sections for us. So we just have to do a lot of practice. Just get the practice book and just keep doing as many questions as you can. Yeah, that's it. Just need to increase the reading comprehension that way. Lah. And then for writing. So writing, I think, is what I put the most practice in. So for us, the format is slightly different. So I can't comment on your first section. For us, it was like a analysis based. What I would do is I would actually do a lot of practice questions, and then I would like give it to my teacher to mark for me, and just let me know what are the mistakes that I made commonly. So I did a lot of this. Really, I wrote a lot of essays to practice this section to improve on writing within the timeline. I'll time myself as well to see if I'm able to, write a good essay within the given time. And if I'm able to expand my points well, what are the common mistakes I make? I'll just try to improve on it. So yeah, these are the things I did. Lah.
Okay, I see. When you talk about speaking, okay, this is some of thing that student always worried about. Um, for most of the students, English are not their first language, right? So, what do you think we can do to actually not being scared? Because most of students scared that they say wrong grammar or they have uneven sentences that are not fully prepared during the speaking because they're nervous, right? So, how can you do this? How about you? How you improve your influency and how you what your first language basically.
Okay, actually, I speak English at home because my parents are English
Yeah,
teachers.
right.
Yes. So I think the way, but of course, you to speak good English, you need to practice it. I think it's the same for any language. You know, when you want to become good in a language, you need to constantly make an effort to practice it daily, lah. So one of the things I did to improve my fluency in general was I actually
Mm-hmm.
joined competitions. I joined public speaking competitions and debate competitions, poetry recitation, like there were a few lah. I just gave it a go, just tried my best, and
Mm-hmm.
then you will improve along the way. And I think, okay, one way to help you improve your fluency and make sure that you practice all the time is actually having confidence. Because I think a lot of people they are nervous that when they say something wrongly, then they will be judged. So the
Mm-hmm.
first thing is you have to improve your confidence lah. It's fine. You know, who cares if someone says anything, like they laugh at you, it doesn't matter because this is a you trying to improve yourself. It's not about what they think. Especially you guys are in matriculation, you will live in less than a year. So it doesn't matter. The people who say anything about you, you won't see them again. Let them just say, just give it a go, just practice English. I have a friend when I was in matriculation who would actually do that. Um, I would talk to him in Malay, and then he would talk back to me in
Mm-hmm.
English. Say he wants to practice English. So yeah, we will just like, okay, yeah, you want to practice English. If they're really a good friend, they will go along with you. If they want to
Mm-hmm.
correct you, they will do it in a nice way. So that's one way to do it. And okay, you said that you mentioned that yeah, students we get nervous when we're talking. We're scared we are going to say the wrong thing. Um, okay, this is like the art of finding the right words. It comes with you talking all the time, you doing the same thing repeatedly. So if you do it a lot, then it will be more comfortable for you to actually train that process of knowing what words to find at the moment lah. But before you get to that point, one thing that really helped me a lot when I was doing my public speaking was actually have a format. So it'll be my title, maybe like an elaboration on the title, and then like the basic questions: what, how, why, when. So I have like a certain format. What are the points that I want to say? So when you have like a framework in your mind of what you want to say, it's much easier for you to find the words rather than you just have a topic and you are expected to talk about it without any format whatsoever. Then yeah, that can be a bit tricky. That's something that people do after they've had a lot of practice. So I would suggest coming up with your own format first to practice this part.
Yeah, I think being asking yourself like 5W and 1H is gonna help to create some ideas during that 2 minutes preparation. So let's be jump for reading. For reading, they how can I say this? The level between the part one to part seven is gonna increase gradually, right? So
Yeah,
yeah, so most of it, me myself, my experience, like some words I don't even understand. This is my new vocab I found
yeah,
ever when I face reading tests. So how can actually I manage that and getting the answer right? Because sometimes I feel like that word that I didn't know actually are the part of the answer for me to
mhm.
understand to find my answer for those questions. So how about you? Did you ever encounter this kind of situation that you don't know the word or you can't digest the sentence like accurately? How about you?
Yeah. So the way that these reading comprehension uh, passages are written is like it's very convoluted, it's very compact, there's a lot of information being given there, and yes, they use really big words, I would say. So uh, the only way to improve this is actually by doing a lot of reading on your own. I know reading books is actually the best way for you to improve on comprehending what you're actually reading as well. And to find that kind of words which they use in our Muet exams, right? My mom used to buy me the Singapore English books because the Singapore's education, like the level of the English that they practice there, even at their middle school or like for primary school, so to say, is they use very big words. So my mom would get me those like standard six punya Singaporean English books, and they would have all these not complex words. So that's how I would get to learn all these big words. And I also like read a lot of books. So when I'm reading a book and then there's a word that I don't understand, I will just yeah, I'll look up what it means. I will understand the context behind it, and yeah, that's how you get to improve on it. When it comes to an academic setting on like reading and trying to improve on the big words that they use in an academic essay, um, you have to read the passages in the reading practice book, our Muet practice book, right? So read all those passages there, see what words you don't understand, try to understand them, and not just understand the definition, understand the context in which the word is used in. Yeah, so that's all I can advise actually, because for reading, you really need to practice a lot. You need to have read a lot of things beforehand to actually understand how these words are being used, to understand the flow of what they're trying to tell you, basically.
Okay. Um, for band six Muet students, may I know what some of your obstacle during your Muet? Because in matriculation things go so fast. You only got 18 weeks to work on, and then you have your Muet. But also you need to collect your marks for your co-curriculum because you don't want to get full flat, but then your curriculum is not 10%. So how do you actually do that while you actually have a lot of things? Because we have assignment, homework, and we only got 10 months in matriculation.
Yeah, yeah. Matrix is a very chaotic, rushed period, but it was so enjoyable. Yeah, because you get to do so many things at once. Okay, so how to manage your time lah, properly, basically. Hmm. Yeah, so I actually will study a lot on the weekdays, maybe up until evening. And then after that, evening to night, I will give myself some time to go out, see my friends. Maybe we can go for a walk, play some sports, or yeah, make some time lah to, de stress as well. And then come back at night and I will continue like my studying and all that. So that's in terms of studying. I was actually quite rajin, quite hardworking lah. Back in metrics, I will make sure I be consistent because you have no choice but to be consistent. The curriculum there is quite compact. You need to quickly get through everything. Yeah, quickly start studying because you don't have enough time. And then for my extracurriculars, um, okay, I actually was in the English Language Society back when I was in Matrix. I was the vice president, and I was also doing the magazine, the chief editor for the magazine. So yeah, that's my extracurricular lah. I tried to go for these positions because you'll get higher cocoa marks by taking up positions. So that's some advice. Take up positions. It's easier for you to get cocoa marks also. And I played squash. So yeah, not a very great squash player, but it was something to distress as well. I will focus on this, like my side extracurriculars, all on my weekends. Okay, and then for Muet, I honestly started preparation maybe around 1 month earlier to Muet, because yeah, as you mentioned, you have so many things to do. I was busy focusing on my academics. We have all this continuous assessment as well, right? All these quizzes. I don't know if you guys have
Yes.
them. Yeah, so
Yeah, we have that. We still have
yeah,
that.
exactly. So all these things they take up your focus, and I prepared to move it a bit closer lah to a bit closer to the exam, like intensified my preparation. I think the timeline is about the same as now. So just now you mentioned to me that you guys have about 1 month, right, to MWET.
Yeah, one
So
more
maybe
to
yeah, now's the time like to start, doing more practice of MWET, all the things that I mentioned earlier. Um, like your academics, you relax a bit and you focus on your MWET first. Once that's over, then yeah, give more focus to your academics lah. The obstacle that I faced was the time managing my time, and also it was COVID. Like we are under lockdown, it was hard to meet my friends and actually practice. Hard to see my teachers. Everything's online, But maybe that's also one of the benefits that we are so online these days. It's actually very easy to find sources to reach out. Our teachers, we can WhatsApp them and ask them, teacher, can you please help look through my work? Is it okay? Any questions you have, you can approach your teachers. It's quite easy because of we have all these like apps to message and all that, right? And then for friends also, you can discuss anything on Google Meet, on Zoom. Sometimes meeting face to face takes up a lot of time. When you are together with your friends face to face, you guys will start talking and then get out of focus. So meeting online is sometimes a better option actually. You save time, and yeah, you tend to be a bit more focused on that. Yeah, I think yeah, those were two of the biggest obstacles, basically.
Yeah, how did you did your Muet? Because you said you do it when the lockdown. How it went?
Um,
What the procedure, you can share some to us?
okay, so actually the like when the time was coming up for Moet, that was when the lockdown was kind of ending. So we were able to go for our exams face to face. But the preparation period, we were locked down on campus. I think most of our classes were online at that point. So
Mm-hmm.
we never didn't rarely left the room lah. Yeah, I think one of our first times going out was for the Moet exam, face to face. The protocol is just social distancing. Don't go too close to your friends. Everybody wear mask. Just that kind of things. I think this definitely also added some stress to preparation phase. Everyone's also worried about getting sick, but I they managed it quite well. We just followed like the protocol, the rules that they set, and it was fine.
Okay, that's another experience because now we actually can do it normally, and then we can face to face. We got no social distancing, so that's experience that, yeah, we're not gonna go through again. I hope so. So
Yeah.
just yeah,
Oh,
just now you
actually, I
talk
forgot to
about
mention something. Just now
what?
you asked me like during the exam, the listening. I think I told you about this just now, right? Okay,
All
listening,
right.
the sound system in our
Mhm.
camp
Okay,
as they watch,
what about it?
it's very echoey. So
Mm.
prepare for that when you first, because you won't get to experience it until the exam. So I'm just telling you now, it's going to be very echoey. First, when you hear it, you're going to be wondering what are they saying. Don't be panic. Don't like be confused. Expect it and just try your best to catch the words as much as you can. I hope they've improved it since I've left. But when we were there listening, yeah, this was the situation lah. Can't help it. So just letting you guys know so you can mentally prepare for that.
Is there a different accent in your listening experience during the exam?
No, the accent was okay. I think it was a Malaysian person speaking, so just yeah, just
Mhm.
normal English speaking accent, no American or British accent.
How about the speed of the audio? Is it enough time to catch what the speaker said, or is it like hard?
I think there was enough time to catch. If I'm not mistaken, they repeat it twice, right? So they will
Yeah, yeah.
repeat the audio
Still.
twice. It's just that I think the situation that we faced was when we couldn't hear the first time because it was echoing.
Mm-hmm.
We were confused, and then we were like a bit panicky, and then we missed out more words. Yeah, we will miss out more words because yeah. Sorry, is there a question? We will miss out more words because let's say I missed this word. Before I can catch the next word, I'll be thinking back about what was actually mentioned before this. Then I will miss the whole sentence. So that was kind of what was the issue lah back then. But the accent, no problem. The speed, it was all okay.
Okay, that's glad to hear because during our test recently for our continuously PB, so we actually get interact with like Indian slang, and also there's UK slang. I think the accent is different, so I thought it might be the same as mine, but then you say that it sound Malaysian, so I think maybe they're still going with the same format. I hope so.
I hope so.
Just now
Fingers
you
crossed.
said that, yeah. So just now you said that the most you work with is actually writing, right?
Yes.
So why do you choose writing as the one that you want to focus the most, and is it because you think that you are not really strong on it, or you think it's the most hard paper to score?
Um, the two hardest components are actually reading and writing. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
for writing, it's basically your practice. How to say it? Okay, again, this is a situation which I actually faced where in the exam hall itself I was really stressed out, and my brain was just not functioning, and I was writing on autopilot. I honestly cannot tell you what I even wrote. It was really on autopilot. And the reason why I think that I still managed to score good marks for it was because I practiced a lot, that it came just like that. So that's kind of what you want to prepare yourself for. In a stressful situation, you're still able to perform despite any like mental block you're having. And writing is one of the biggest weightage, so that's why I was focusing a lot on it. I think, yeah, as I mentioned, the components are different now, right? But for me back then, our first aspect of the first component of the writing paper was uh, analytical based. So you really need to follow the format correctly. There were different approaches for different questions, because they will give it to us in a form of like graph or statistics. So we need to know how to interpret that uh, properly to get good marks. So that's why I would say it's one of the most technical parts of the paper. That's why I was focusing a lot on it and did a lot of practice questions. Of course, the second question you can write whatever you want. So you just need to be able to expand your points properly lah. That's what I was practicing on.
Um, okay, so um, how do you think? Okay, basically one of the problem usually student encounter is they doesn't have idea to write. Like when they write something, they goes blank and they're like, what should I write after this? Because I want to get as much as close as the question asked about, but then I don't have idea how to elaborate, and also at the same time I don't want to run from the flow of the question, because when we write more sometimes we go, it's like we write and then continuously and then we like go to another idea which is not actually relate to the question. So how to face that, how to avoid write long but then there's no point to write that long.
Okay. You need to plan your writing. Like, look, when you read the question, I will give 1 point for one paragraph. Okay. So you need to plan how many points are you going to include in your essay. Make sure these are very good points. Before you even write the essay, when you're planning this, think what are the strongest points that you can put forth that you have a lot to say about. So plan it this way, lah. And then after you've identified what points you want to write about, again, I will expand most of my paragraph in a similar manner where I will. I forgot what's the format. There's a certain format to do it actually. I'm sure you guys know like how to write a thesis statement. I think you might have learned it lah, but I don't remember the technicalities
uh,
anymore.
we yeah, this is statement is like the conclusions of the end of the introductions in one
Thesis
paragraph.
statement is like your basically your introduction is what
Huh?
is this essay going to be about, and then
Mm-hmm.
there's like other format on how to expand it. You ask the uh 5W1H, like ask how can you explain this point from different angles. Always try your best to give an example and an explanation. So it'll be point, explanation, example. To elaborate your explanation, ask all those questions: what, how, why, when. Yeah, so that's basically how I expand a paragraph. Wait, let me summarize that. So I'll have my point, and then my explanation, ask the questions. I will insert an
Mm-hmm.
example. That's the best way to expand your paragraph. Your thesis statement, make sure it's strong. Make sure you plan your
Mm-hmm.
essay early onwards. And I actually to give myself a bit of edge. Like I want to make my essay stand out, make it like look good. Um, I will memorize proverbs. I'll memorize proverbs
Mm-hmm.
Latin or French,
Yeah.
and I'll give the English explanation. This also will take up words because you write the Latin version and then you write the English explanation, and I'll memorize
Mm-hmm.
very general kind of proverbs, like in when we're writing our penulisan essay for SPMBM, right? We have
Mm-hmm.
proverbs like kenal maka tak cinta. Like these are applicable
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
says. So I'll try to find those kind of similar concepts, but in a different language, Latin, French, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I use that to make my essay stand out a bit more. Make it look like you're well read. You've read books and stuff, and you can able to relate it to this situation. Yeah, that's how I practice my writing, lah, basically.
So usually how much time that you use to prepare your idea of essay?
Mm,
Like you want to rank the idea, so you
okay.
can.
Okay. You need to do that really quickly. Don't take too much time to plan because then when you're writing you'll realize you run out of time there. Plan, give yourself 5 minutes maximum to plan. Shorter the better. Again, you have a format. I'm not too sure. It's agree and disagree, right? Usually you agree
Yeah,
with the
it's argumentative essay.
yeah, it's an argumentative essay. So I will first think, okay, if I agree with this, what are the points that
Mm-hmm.
I can give? Um,
Mm-hmm.
how many? Am I able to come up with a lot or just a few? If I disagree, how many points am I able to give? How strong are the points? Are they very obviously correct, very relatable, not very relatable, but very related to the topic, the points, or are they like a bit off topic? You're not 100% sure if what you're saying is right. So you debate first. If you agree and disagree, which would help you write a better essay? Or I think you can take the middle ground as well. If I recall correctly, I always take the middle ground, neither agree nor disagree. Like I'm somewhere in the middle. Usually they don't recommend doing this, but for me, I find when I do that, I have more points. So you actually just need to see which angle works best for you, which angle gives you the most to write about. So once you identified which angle you want, then the points itself, very briefly, what you would like to include, maybe some facts you remember, you quickly write it down before you start writing the essay. All this should be done in 5 minutes. If you take too long with it, then you'll panic later on. And to prevent yourself from taking too long with it, practice planning your essays. Let's say you don't have enough time to write all these practice essays before, like you don't have time to write all these practice essays and submit to your teacher to check. Maybe what you can do is just look at the questions and plan the essays. Like look at many, many questions and plan all of them. And then that's another way to practice. Lah. I did that as well when I didn't have time to write the whole essay.
I see. When you said just now, you always use like I don't know. It's not a proverb. It's a market tak kenal market tak cinta. It's not a proverb. But
Yeah, like
it's like where you attract the reader, the
yeah,
examiner to think that your essay stand out from others, right? So do you think
yes.
by using this kind of thing, actually what we call it. Okay, when I did my writing task, my teacher asked me to get the ideas from an author or a famous person, and then insert it and then rephrase it. Do you use the same way to put it in your essay to make it stand out? Because when we use that, it's look like we have more knowledge
Like
and we read
quotations.
what?
Like quotations basically, like quotations from
Yeah,
books
yeah,
things.
yeah.
Okay, honestly, when you are in a exam situation, unless this is a topic that you genuinely know a lot about, we don't really have the liberty to like go and find suitable quotations or actually think too much about what is it I've read previously that I can apply here. Because if I would only do that if when I look at the essay, I can automatically think, oh, wait, this reminds me of a book that I read before. I can use this quotation. If it doesn't naturally come to you, then you might be wasting a bit more time trying to think so hard about what can give you the edge when you don't even have the basics, your ranker of the essay actually planned out. So I don't waste too much time on that. The reason why I insert all these slogans, props, or quotes at the end is because the way that I write my essays is it's usually in a way that is very easy for you to read. The flow of the essay um, is very formatted, like I mentioned just now, because I will do it in a certain way. So you will be able to read my essays very easily. And I don't want to make it look like I'm someone who just follow format. That's why I try to insert some, quotes, some proverbs, like yeah, something a bit interesting. So it shows that I'm also trying to give my essay my own personal style instead of just expanding it like textbook wise.
Okay, that's great. I think because if you think something too hard, it's gonna make you more nervous to do something,
Yeah.
and it's yeah, and it can make you forget those things that actually need to be right on the
Yeah.
paper.
Yeah.
So before we going for the Q&A session, last but not least, I want to know how you feeling when you get your Muet result by that time.
Oh, I was really, really shocked. I didn't expect it at all. I was aiming for a band 5. honestly, band six is really, it was it back in my time, very impossible to get. I didn't even have any hope that I can get it. And then I was expecting a band five, but when I got my results, I was just so shocked. I didn't know what to say, and I was very grateful because I definitely could not have done it without my teacher, Miss Madeline, and also like my parents. My parents are English teachers as well, so I will send my essays to Miss Madeline. I'll send my essays to my parents, and they will help me check. And my friends, I couldn't have done it with my friends because I forced all my friends to jump on Google Meets and practice with me all the time. To get the results is not something that I worked on my own. Definitely, it's something that happened because I had so much help. In Okay, in matriculation, you are actually really, really supported. You have friends who are there to help you, study groups. You have teachers who are really willing to sit with you, to answer your questions, to put in a lot of effort to help you do well in your exams. So yeah, I think really take advantage lah of being in matriculation and asking everyone around you for help as well. Because I couldn't have done it without them. I just felt really grateful to get my results basically.
What was your target before that?
Or band five. Yeah, I
Oh,
wanted a high
band
band, which is
five.
quite, which I felt I can achieve. So band five was my target lah.
Mm,
Actually, I
I
wanted to
see.
say
So,
something. Oh yeah. So I know for some people, it's like maybe it's just Muet is just an English exam for you. It's like not so important, because it's just a language exam. But I I just want to stress, not like this is the motivation lah. Basically, I want to stress to you how important Muet is. Okay, especially as a matriculation student, you're applying for government uni. Your Muet band is being taken into account. So not having the like baseline Muet band for the course that you're interested in can actually prevent you from getting into the uni that you want or the course that you want. Because I've seen some of my friends be in the situation, and also
mm-hmm,
I've seen some of them not get what they want because of this white band
mm-hmm,
thing. So really,
yeah.
you only have 1 month, like, just go all out, just do your best. It will really help you, and it's also something which will impress your interviewer when you're interviewing for unis. Yeah, it seems like a small thing now, but actually you will realize later it can change a lot of situations for you for the better.
Yeah, because we got so many competitors, not only from the matriculation, we also have foundations, we also have the STPM students, so we actually compete to them. And the way I think they filtered out some of students that they have the limitation of intake, right? So I think
Mhm.
they also see our MUET result to give
Yeah,
the reason why we are not choosing for those uh, university that people want, as such as UM and also UKM. So
yeah.
I think that's how much important to score in web. So there's some questions.
Mhm.
There's some people ask in the comment of YouTube. So the first question is from Ho Ying J. May I know, is your framework same for all the question from different topic?
My framework in expanding my essays. May I know is your framework same for all the questions from different topics? Yes, it's the same. Because the framework applies generally for argumentative essays on how you want to expand the points. So it, regardless of what topic it is, I will I will expand it the same way. Some might be more difficult than others. I can't deny that, but uh, I still use the same format. Like, I find it's the easiest way to explain something without just rambling about random things, and then you might find yourself like being very inconsistent with what you write for each paragraph and for each point, like you're talking about different things for each point. So I think having a framework is actually very important.
All right, that answered the first question. So the second question we have, like, what can we do to make writing outstanding? I think you already mentioned before this that you wrote some quotes that you suddenly pop up in your mind. But then another question is, in your writing, did you include your current affair? Like in your during your moment time, COVID was the current affair by that time. So did you
Yes.
did you take note on the current affair to do your writing?
Yes. Okay. to give outstanding writing, first be very confident in writing in a basic manner very well. And then the next step after knowing that you can write a basic essay very well is inserting your own style into it. So when you're inserting your own style into it, basically you will integrate things that you have read about, things that you have seen, maybe things that you have experienced, and include words that you found impactful. So, how would I say? To make your writing outstanding, maybe instead of using a simple word, you can use a word that you've read before in context, which is synonymous, and can make a bigger impact when a person is reading. Like, let's say I'm reading this, and instead of using simple words, use is like more impactful words. I'll think, oh wow, this person knows how to use language in a very how to use language in a very strategic way where they're able to make their point clearer, and they're so good in this language that they can actually write this argumentative essay and use all these complicated words instead of just sticking to the basics. So I would say, to be outstanding, improve your vocabulary, read a
Mm-hmm.
lot. Yeah, read a lot. That's the main thing that will improve, how you're able to string your sentences together. Current affairs, if it's applicable, yeah, I will try to include it. For me, it was about, I think, parents, child. That was my argumentative essay, so I didn't include anything about COVID lah. Mm, but yeah, if you've read something about it, then go ahead.
Okay. Um, okay. Um, when people think to make outstanding writing, some people have. What do you think? Is content is more important, or the language is more important, or it's gonna go same both way? Because some people have ideas, some people have so much elaboration in their mind, but their language is not strong enough, because they doesn't have time to, or maybe they try to learn, but it's not gonna take a short term for that. 1 month is not enough for them. So how do you think, for those people doesn't have strong language or grammar, but they have a good content?
Okay, actually, it's kind of hard to separate the two, because even if you have a lot of good ideas, if you are unable to utilize the language in a correct manner, it's going to be hard for you to translate the ideas, like to translate into writing basically, because you're unable to phrase it out properly if you don't have a good hold of the language. But if I have to choose, I would say it's better for you to be in a situation where you have the correct points, you have the correct explanation, you have good examples, and yeah, you might make grammatical mistakes here and there, but it's better than someone with a very good command of the language writing something completely unrelated to the topic, because yeah, then you can't be graded because you have no points. Basically, you're just talking in circles. So that's how I would say, like, if I had to compare, but these two come hand in hand together because they're both graded equally when you write. So if you have 1 month, I would say just try to improve your formatting, try to how do I say, try to see what sentence structures you can use a lot. um I don't remember, like, how would you start off a sentence? For example, hence, moreover, hence, like those kind of small things. Try to familiarize yourself with starting with this kind of sentence structures to help with your formatting. That's all I can say for small short term period when you're trying to improve quickly.
Yeah, using more quality devices, right?
Yes, yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah, because some of these thing also goes to the speaking, because people have idea but they're afraid because they have weak language and some more. Um, so for the next question from Dania, from what do we have any ramalan question or topics that could possibly come out during the examination
Oh no.
in your time? In your
There's
time.
no. I've never heard of any Ramalan questions when I was sitting for Muet. It could be anything. Yeah, because how do I say? It's not like, let's say. you're studying for a subject matter, not like science or bio. Like they say, okay, photosynthesis is coming out, so you can study photosynthesis. This one language is integrated into everything, so they can't possibly predict what part they're going to test you on. Lah. Yeah, there's no way. There's no way this could happen. So just do your revision, lah. Basically.
Yeah, because I never heard too, but maybe in your time, I don't know.
No, not for what.
Okay. So for the next question, we have what topic can I practice speaking about to build confidence and fluency? Because I think most of our tasks before this will usually meet the same question like social media or about community. So what about the others? Do you also, when during your preparation, do you practice some topics that are not really usual to come out? The one that really rare to come out. Did you practice that kind of topics also?
Okay, I did not practice very unorthodox topics, but
Okay.
basically, the Muet revision book, we would just flip through it, look at past year questions, what
Mm-hmm.
are the themes that are being tested, and we'll try to practice according to themes. So if the theme is environment, let's say, so then we'll practice that, and then maybe next we'll practice social media. Next we'll practice maybe volunteering. So we will practice according to themes. I think the best way for you to practice speaking is practice as many themes, many different themes as you can. Let's say you see a recurring theme, then maybe you can, if you have time, practice it later, but try to get
Mm-hmm.
acquainted with a lot of other themes first, lah, basically, instead of practicing on the same theme, just slightly different topics, because then you're kind of limiting yourself. When you practice different themes, you will not only, how do I say, you will not only gain the ability to quickly get points from all these different things, because you gain more
Mm-hmm.
knowledge about it. Of course, let's say if I was first to discuss about environment, like it's my first time talking about the environment ever,
Mm-hmm.
it'll take longer for me to get points. I will be very
Mm-hmm.
unsure about my points. But let's say I've already practiced environment before. After you practice, after all the mistakes you make, you'll go and read up, right? I mean, you'll be like, oh, okay,
Mm-hmm.
actually, what could I have said? And then you learn more about it. You'll become a bit more comfortable with that thing. So this is what you want to achieve. You want to be comfortable with various things. So practice as many as you possibly could. And I found all these questions in the past year book mostly. I didn't really look online for topics to practice now.
Yeah, because most of us learning things from our background knowledge. When we heard more, we learn more, then we can think more easier, right?
Yeah, exactly. I will learn about different themes, what kind of examples I can relate to it. So for speaking, I really try to include current affairs into it. It makes you look like a very well-read person. You're
Mm-hmm.
able to have a very good conversation where you're sharing something new. So I think for me, my speaking exam, it was about the environment. I had practiced that before, and I remember that time there was a flood, and I actually included it in my point. I spoke about the flood that had recently happened. So yeah, that's one way to make your speaking stand out as well, because the examiner will think, oh, you're very good at holding a conversation well, able to explain your points well, giving very good relevant examples. So yeah, that's what you want.
All right. For the next question from Alicia, did you listen to TED Talk or podcast for Muet?
Okay.
Maybe.
I personally didn't. I do listen to tech talks from time to time. Uh, Podcast, no. I don't know if I would recommend a podcast. Maybe it depends on the speaker, because some of the people talking on podcast, they don't really speak in a proper way. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's a good way for you to replicate it. But TED Talk, of course, that's one of the best ways to learn um, how to speak in a very uh, elaborate way.
Formal.
Yeah, in a formal way. Yeah, that's right. You're good at expanding your points. You speak in a way where you really engage the audience. You engage other people in your conversations. So I think TED Talks is a good way to practice. Um, but TED Talks is also public speaking. Your speaking exam is not a public speaking per se. It's a
Mm-hmm.
conversation. You have other people
Yeah.
involved in the conversation. So you should practice with other people. So you can, you know, prepare yourself for their responses. Maybe you can prepare for how you want to prompt them. All these things come into play as well during your speaking exam. Maybe you can help your friend here a bit. You are able to listen as well as you're able to speak. So, yeah, not just TED Talks lah. Listen to TED Talks, it helps a lot, but also practice with your friends.
Yeah, because TED Talk they are short video and also, but they are full with the contents. I love TED Talk
Yeah,
because that's all. Yeah, and their English are also, most of them I never heard the vocab, but then I learned from the TED Talk, so it's kind of help my vocab somehow.
yeah, that's a
So
very good point. The vocabulary and the content, something you can
mhm.
take away from the videos and implement in your own speaking. Yeah.
Yeah, because when you're speaking, you only have 2 minutes to present, and then for groups, you only have 8 to 12 minutes. So it's short time, but in the short time, you want to have so many contacts in there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. For Malaysia again, how can we learn different types of sentence structure? Should we find it internet?
uh you should, okay, the way you can learn different types of sentence structure is by reading a lot of example essays. So you have collection of essays. That's the best way to learn about different types of sentence structures. Yeah, that's how I learn lah. I don't think you can find it on the internet specifically anywhere per se. I think the collection of essays is probably the best way to learn about it.
Yeah. I hope that's answer your question, Alicia. And then this one is very, I think, shall I show you this question?
Okay,
What do you think? What do you think about this question?
what do I do? Okay,
And
this is my brother. So
oh, your
I
brother.
recommend you profile picture how to be like me. I mean, you're already halfway there. But I don't know. Don't be like me. Please practice in a way that is best for you. Find a pattern or find a practice that you are comfortable with. What works with your schedule. Manage yourself accordingly. Today, when actually you guys asked me to come and give your motivation for Muet, I didn't know what I'm supposed to talk about because I can't give you motivation. Only you can give yourself motivation.
Mm,
Muet sometimes is like, honestly, it's a means to an end lah. I'm sure you guys have careers you want to achieve, places you want to go, like any university or you want to do and all that. So that will be your motivation to do well in Muet. I can't tell you that. Only you guys can motivate yourself regarding that. So you want to be like me, find your own motivation lah, basically.
all right. Thank you, Swifter Hyper. So, your brother, isn't it?
Yes,
No,
my
your brother.
brother. What's he doing?
Okay. He support you, or yeah, he support you so
He's
much. He love
also
you.
from KMNS. I think last year. Last year, or the previous year punya
Wow,
alumni. Yeah.
I see. So he actually already passed the Muet, right?
Yes. Yes, he passed already. I don't remember how much he got though, but he passed already.
Okay, it's okay. You already said that he halfway there. Okay, so for the next question, from side Z, what is like your critical thinking modus operandi to think up points for essay, like body paragraph contents
Body
and
paragraph
all?
content on. Hmm. Like how I think of points are. Oh, I don't really have like a process for it, honestly. I just try to think what makes the most sense. Um yeah, I try to think what makes most sense, what's the most relatable to the topic. First thing you want to think about is what is the question trying to ask you. You have to guess what are they expecting from you, and then based on that develop your points. Sometimes the questions can be really complicated. Break it down into keywords, and then yeah, break it down to keywords. Dissect what is the question trying to say, and hence what is it trying to ask, and then that's how you think up points. Maybe the modus operandi I try to implement is going in a debating mindset. So I find that people think better when we are arguing with someone, when we are trying to prove someone wrong. So if you assume like you're taking the opposition to this point, why would you disagree with this point? Then you're able to give more ideas for it, more points for it. maybe that's one of the ways I can recommend in approaching this. But honestly, I'd say first try to understand the question as much as you can. Try to understand what they're asking, and then build your point around that. Yeah.
Okay. So I think this one is the last question because we already left 10 minutes more, and then we're gonna have you to say some speech before we end it up. So this one from me, where
Well,
we can find collection essay.
okay, yeah, good question. So for collection of essays, uh, again, I recommend the Singapore collection of essays. Very well developed points, very good vocabulary, words that I didn't know. I have to read, like, look it up to understand. I like the way they expand their points. I usually get hard copy, so you just go to the bookstore and you just flip through a collection of essays book and which one you think is suitable for you. If you look through the collection of essays and you're able to understand most of what they're trying to say, don't get it. Get one that you find that you cannot understand what they're trying to say, because that's where you can actually learn something from it. So yeah, you can get it from the bookstore. Maybe you can look online. The one that I recommend is the Singaporean collection
Mhm.
of essays, and also maybe the literature ones. Like, they have literature collection of essays, right? Those will be good as well. But maybe something more targeted for your Moet, to improve your ability, like, to write for your Moet per se. Find the argumentative essays one is better. But if you want to improve your vocabulary, then literature ones have very good words there where you can learn a lot from.
Okay. So that's the last question we got today. So, Miss Anna, if you got time later on after we finish our live, maybe you can answer some question in the comment section because we actually have like some more question, but we doesn't have time to discuss about it. So, before we end, can we hear some of motivational words or anything you want to say last but not least to us
Okay.
for all the students that gonna having our Muet examination 1 month more. What maybe some last tips from you as a band six achiever to share with us for this evening.
Okay. Actually, yeah. First, I mentioned you need to find your own motivation for Moet. It is actually much bigger than just a simple English class. It's a very huge determinant in your future as well. So, yeah, take that into account. Second is, maybe if you are someone who is very scared when you're speaking English because you're scared of how you're being perceived, whether you're being judged, people think that you're speaking the wrong way. Um, you should know that what you do to improve yourself is much more important than anything anyone has to comment about the way that you speak. Even if you make mistakes, the only way that you can learn is if someone corrects you as well. So let's say they're doing it and maybe you feel like you're being judged, don't take it that way. Just take what they've said with a pinch of salt and use it as a way to improve yourself as well. Because, of course, um, no one is born speaking perfect English or like speak fluent any language. Everyone is It's a learning process and it takes time to get good at it. Even growing up, my parents would correct me so many times when I'm speaking English. They'll be like, no, that's wrong. And yeah, imagine growing up with English teachers. I face the most criticism at home when I'm speaking, but this is actually what encourages you to be better and it helps you improve your
Mhm.
fluency. Okay? So do a lot of practice as much as you can. You only have 1 month, so yeah, just go all out, okay? And you will be surprised. As I mentioned earlier, I didn't even know that I would be able to get band 6. I think
Mhm.
that time only 3 people in Malaysia got it. So it's super impossible, but it's something that you can do it if you work really hard. So set your goals as high as you can because you never know, you might actually achieve it. Once you put in the effort, the results will definitely show. So don't feel discouraged by anything anyone might say or how you feel you're doing now. There's always time and space to change. You have 1 month and that's a lot of time for you to, do better and get really good results. Also, I would say manage your time as much as you can. Matriculation is one of the best parts of my life. Honestly, now that I'm in university, I miss matriculation so much. It was really a good balance of like studying and also being with my friends, experiencing a lot of different things. So get the most out of this experience, lah, I would say. And I wish all of you the best for your upcoming Muet exams. I hope all of you can get what is highest band for your 5 plus. Yeah, I hope all of you can get band 5 plus for your upcoming Muet lah. Set a new record. Everyone in KMNS get band 5 plus.
Oh
Yes.
wow.
Can.
Okay. That's the word from Miss Tanya. So thank you very much, Miss Tanya, for addressing question and sharing insight about your journey to achieve Band 6 in your MUET. Also, you also share us your experience, become a matriculation, and also become a student that encounter the MUET examination. Well, that's the last speech from Mr. Nya, and that's also bring us to the end of today's webinar. Don't forget, we also will having our speaking session tomorrow. We are the same YouTube live stream. Stay tuned, and also we're gonna look forward for to see you guys tomorrow. So I think that's all from us today, Miss Danya. Thank you very much. I know you just come back 5 minutes before we even start. You
It's
still in
okay.
your scrub, and that's show us that you are willing to share your some of your time, and we're gonna appreciate it so much.
Thank you so much for
Uh,
having me. Really, I also really appreciate the opportunity. I hope you guys, hopefully learned something from what I said. But yeah, thank you so much.
Right, that's all from us, audience, the students, and also the teachers that watch us now. So see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow we're gonna meet at 2:45, right? Yep. 2:25. And then for speaking, we also have video that we pre-record of some of our students, and will be judged by our speaker tomorrow. So don't forget to set your time, and also have a good dinner to Miss Daniel also, and have a good time. Thank you. Bye everyone. Assalamualaikum.